Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're talking about my EcoFlow Delta. Now guys, I got this of course for overlanding and a bunch of fun stuff like that, but the main intent is to power my entire business. Now we have a craft fair business, we do traveling, we're at a different show each weekend, and a lot of the shows require us to have power of our own. And nowadays they're getting to the point where they won't even let us use our generator. They want quiet power and they won't power us at all. So guys, I went out and I got the EcoFlow Delta. In this video, I actually bought this myself. It may not always be that way. You know, I'm working with EcoFlow for some future video content, but at this point guys, I just want to let you know that this is true blue straight up review. You know, we're always going to give you an honest review. I'm not going to be backed into a corner where I can't give out my honest opinion, but some people want to know that. So just know I bought this guy here, and so I'm so happy it got to me. It's working awesome. Now friends, just a little bit of how it came to me. Of course it comes with this little carry bag right here, and so that's just a little sleeve that goes over it, a little bit of a dust protector, and then it came with this is the cigarette charger right here, and this is for the solar power, and then this is actually the wall plug-in. So guys, a couple little quick facts about the EcoFlow Delta in case this is the first time you're stumbling across it. Its capacity is 1,260 watt hours. It has 800 plus life cycles. If you've watched reviews on others, you'll know that's kind of low. So without getting into the cons, 800 cycles isn't the best. And the next thing is it has a pure sine wave inverter at 1800 watts. So you can power something up to 1800 watts, but it has a surge of 3300 watts. So if you have an item that has that really high turn on time, it uses a lot of power to get going, and then it rides steady at a lower watt ratage, then this thing will be the thing for you. The AC input is 1200 watts. And the max solar input is 400 watts. So the most you want to get is some configuration of 400 watts of solar. Although they recommend 3 110 watt solar panels plugged into this guy. So friends, real quickly, just about the boxing. You know, I don't want to do an unboxing, but they sent me a box inside a box. So that came, and then the EcoFlow Delta came in this box. And then inside there, of course, they had some padding. So I think you guys can have some confidence that it's gonna get to you in one piece. And this thing is safe and sound. I had no issues. It shipped fast. Customer service, of course, I've been working on them with some brand deal stuff, but I had it came out as soon as they said it would. Make sure and hang to the end of the video. I'm gonna give you guys some bonus footage. I'm gonna show you a tool that this thing will not power. And so right now I just wanna go put it through its paces. Before we get out and get into my booth, I just wanna show you a couple power tools here in the shop, so maybe you can get a little frame of reference in the real world, at least what it'll turn on. We won't go into huge run times or how long it'll power these things. I just thought it'd be fun to show you what this thing can do. So friends, on the front of this thing is the DC, and on the back is the AC. Both of them have a little on button, so you switch that on. I got this turned on in the back. You know, I'm not playing games, it's all plugged in, but here is the Sawzall. So that was up to like 700 watts. And now here's a skill saw. Of course, DeWalt's not sponsoring this, but you can't go wrong. So that's 630 approximately. I'm not looking at it full time, but guys, that's the cool thing, is it'll show you how much power is coming in the unit and how much power is going out. So whether you got it plugged into the wall or you got it plugged into solar, you can tell exactly what's going on. Now when you're out overlanding or you're working in a booth like mine, you gotta know what's going on. Maybe I'm running the coffee pot, or maybe you're doing different things that aren't necessities, and if you need lights, if you need power, if you need heat, different things, then you can estimate how long these things are gonna be running. and you can cut certain things off. So up next, we're gonna get out and get this thing into our craft booth. Guys, I can't wait to show you how it's gonna provide me money, make my way of living, you know, off grid. I'm out there powering the printer, the plotter, the computer, and just running the business. So we're gonna talk about how long it'll run certain items. We're gonna talk about watts and amps and some of the specifications, but I think it's gonna be fun. So let's get out there and see what this thing will do. All right guys, so here it is. The day has finally come. I can't wait to show you how the EcoFlow Delta makes me money. So this is kind of what we do. We do different craft fairs, different events like this. Right now we've been working our way up through Georgia. We spent the last month in Florida, and right now we're just northeast of Atlanta. This is the Lawrenceville Sip and Swine. So basically there's a bunch of barbecue, some music, and a bunch of fun. But guys, we're gonna come over to my booth and I'll just show you a little bit about what we do. But the main thing that we're gonna focus on is that EcoFlow Delta. So here's my booth behind me. We make personalized signs and we make them for you in about 20 minutes. So we're gonna get all into what the EcoFlow Delta does for us, but we gotta make these signs. We make them and we customize them for people, so you can put your name, you can put your kid's name, get something for a friend or family. And this is what kind of pays the bills for us. And what we need power for is to run this plotter right here and to run our computer. You know, this right here is to charge our cell phones, and then we have a little card reader. So not really any heavy draws. Sometimes at night we'll put a light here that's shooting towards the back, and then we'll put another light there that shoots to these signs, and one down to my workspace. But what we really wanted is this to be able to work all weekend long and run our Keurig. We don't have the Keurig in here right now, but the Keurig is 1500 watts, and this thing has an 1800 watt inverter. So the Vitide and the Opus, you'll see us talk about these other power stations we have. They run our entire business. In fact, they might run it in 2 days, a full weekend on a slow weekend. But if we're really pumping out signs, you'd have to be putting a little bit of solar back into those. But this thing here is gonna last us the entire weekend, even with doing coffee and stuff. So we'll get into making a sign and show you guys how much power we're drawing with a typical use. I might even talk about if we're running lights, but you know, you just start running a relationship with your electronics and understanding how much draw is coming out of stuff. And right now, this thing, we've been running it for a month and a half or so, and it just does everything we need it to do. So I was just recording, guys, and I was thinking it's kind of funny because behind me there's a generator running, and that's always been me in the past. You know, I'm gassing out my neighbor, gassing out my customers, and trying to have a conversation over that thing roaring. You know, they're kind of quiet, but when you put any kind of load to them, they're gonna have to ramp up to carry that. So we got the Delta right here just chilling. Nobody even knows it's there. It's not loud, it's not gassing anybody out, and that's just one of the main advantages. You know, this show, to my surprise, actually lets you have gas generators, but again, we had to buy this thing because so many shows told us that they're not even allowed and they're not going to provide power for us. So guys, make sure to hang with me to the end. We're going to keep covering some of the specs, some of the details. We're going to nerd out a little bit and talk a bit more about what this thing will do in a real world situation. So here we are. This is just a little funny sign that we make, and so I'm going to get it ready to print. So something we're going to focus on right now, well, we're still at 100% and it's pulling out 13 watts right now. That's just from the computer, and this thing's on standby. So I'm gonna print and we're gonna see what it starts doing. So now we got 24, 20, 22. See, it's still not much. 22 watts coming out, and we're charging and we're cutting all at the same time. I saw 30 for a second, but you can tell that this thing just really doesn't draw much power for us. So it's not like a huge demand at once that we need, like running power tools or something like that, but it's more of the ability to run the Keurig and then using this in some of our personal life too. You know, on the camper, on the rig, we want to have the ability to do whatever we want to do with this thing when we're not at work also. So basically this thing here is just cutting the vinyl, and then I'm gonna do what's called weeding. I'm gonna weed it out and pick out all the stuff you don't want, and then I'll transfer it to the metal sign. So at this point I just peeled back that top layer, and now what I'm gonna do, it's called weeding. I have to get in here and get all these little, like kind of inside the O, inside the A. I had to pick all this dude's face out, and then we'll transfer it there. Okay, so now that sticky side is actually up. I'm going to scoot this over. And this is kind of the only tricky part, is laying this down straight. And there it is, friends. So guys, I know you didn't come exactly for a sign making class, but I wanted to show you why we're using the EcoFlow Delta, how it powers our entire business. We can make just hundreds and hundreds of signs just like this: entering crab country, house divided, frog parking only, all others will be towed. This is how we make our business. This is how we make money using the EcoFlow Delta. So now let's get into a bit of the specs. And there it is, friends. It's dark, and this EcoFlow Delta is lighting up our booth like you wouldn't believe. Those guys look pretty good over there too. So we couldn't be happier with how this thing gives us power. So as you can see, this thing's at 1% charge, and I got it plugged in actually through this little adapter into a 30 amp plug. So this takes it from 30 and it brings it down. See, that's my camper plugged in here. This guy isn't working right now, but we found some power, so I'm plugging this into here, and now it's up to 643 watts. I saw like 1100 or more the other day. I'll show you guys that, but right now it looks like all we're getting out of this is 645, which is pretty good. It's at 2%, and it says it's going to take 1 hour to charge it. So I will get back with you guys and see if that thing is charged to the hour. I'm gonna set an alarm on my phone. So guys, it's been right about 50 minutes, and now it's at 91%. So in 50 minutes it went up 90%. It's taking in 693 watts, and it has 12 minutes to go. So what I've seen in the past is it starts slowing down. It'll start where it's at 694 now, it'll start going down to like 500, 400, and it'll kind of like trickle in that last bit of electricity as it's pumping in. So those watts are going to be coming down. I'll check back with you guys here in a minute. And the last little checkup to see how it's doing, it's at 99%. We have 1 minute to go, and I guess this time I was wrong. It's still pumping in 711 watts right up to the end. I thought I saw it die down in the past, but at this point, maybe that other time it died down, some other load came onto that circuit and I just didn't realize it. So here we are, 1 minute to go, 99%, pumping in 711 watts. Some of the takeaways for me is that this thing will power our business. Now, I'm not sure what you guys are looking at, what you're trying to power. For some of you, this may be way too big, way much power than you need. Maybe you just need something smaller that EcoFlow offers that you can put up in your rooftop tent. Or maybe you're trying to power, you know, your cabin or something like that off grid, and there's some bigger units by EcoFlow. But for me, this will power my business. It'll power all of the electronics in our booth and a lot of the stuff in our camper, and it'll even do that Keurig. Now, don't forget that the Keurig, a couple little pro tips there, is you can heat up some water and do some mac and cheese, some ramen noodles, we do little instant potatoes and stuff like that to get us through the day there in the booth. And this thing, it only pulls about 3% of the total battery every time we use the Keurig. So that's been awesome for us. Now, this is one of the fastest charging units in the market, like we talked about. It just charges so fast, and that's what is so helpful for us, because we can get to maybe a campsite, or just quite frankly, sometimes we're doing laundry at a laundromat and we'll plug this thing in. By the time our laundry is done, this thing is fully charged. So that's what we need, something in a really quick setting. You know, my Opus and Vatide will still be charging long after this thing's done. And that's what causes that battery to go dead quicker. Again, it's 800 cycles, and that's because you're pumping in a lot of energy into it right away. And with that 1800 watt inverter, it's going to be pulling it out really quick. Don't forget it has that 3,300 watt boost, and with 1,265 watt hours of time, you know, we found that to be really good for us. You could always use more power. You know, guys build out these dual battery systems with 6-8 batteries, and you can power your house, you can power an AC unit, all kinds of crazy things. So as far as the run time, you know, we found that to be really good for us. We haven't tested it with solar yet. You know, we're looking into different solar panels and different options. EcoFlow has some great ones that come with it. We've been able to test a collapsible, foldable solar panel, but I think what we really want and need is something mounted to the roof of our RV. That way we can just set it and forget about it as we're driving or park somewhere, and we can always be pumping back into it. It's super rigid. It is in our craft fair booth. It is in and out of the back of the truck, inside the camper at points, and you know, it's taken a good few little hits already. We got a dog in the back seat that hangs out with the EcoFlow, so he's pawing at it and scratching on it. So I have found it to be super rigid, and so far at this point very durable. Again, we've had it about 3 months now and no issues there. The quality control was really good. We were super happy with that, and everything has worked. You know, the only time that we hit the error code, which you'll see at the end of the video, is when I found a tool that this thing won't power. So that's kind of the only time we've actually seen an error code, because it has all the built-in protections. You can't overload it, underload it. It has surge protections if you hook up the wrong solar and stuff like that. It's all built into there. Check out the website and you'll learn more about all the different protections that are built into this thing. So I'm keen to know if you guys have had this unit. If you had, I'd love to know your experiences, your thoughts. Maybe you've had an error code that I haven't. What have you been able to power, and what are you looking into with this? If you have a different EcoFlow product or something like that, let me know in the comments. If there's something I missed that you think would be helpful for other people to see or learn about this, we'd love to know about that as well. So talk to me down in the comments. Guys, again, there's some bonus footage at the end, but if you made it this far, I'd love for you guys to join the channel. You know, it would help so much, and I think we got some really fun videos. If you're into this one, check back the history, some of the little trips and stuff we've taken. I think you'll really enjoy. So if you'd consider subscribing and hitting the bell, that way you'll get notified anytime we put a video out. You know, like I said, drop us a comment and hit the like button. That's going to do a ton. You know, YouTube's going to have all these warm and fuzzy feelings about our channel. So guys, I'm going to drop you this last little bit of footage of what this thing will not power. But until the next one, guys, God bless you. Get up and go on. All right, friends, so we're at the back of the truck, and as you can see, I have the table saw plugged into the back of the Delta. Guys, I haven't even tried this before, so I'm gonna go ahead and power it on. All right, now I'm gonna head to the back of this and make sure that the AC power is turned on. All right, so the AC power is turned on. Right now we're at 100%. It's at 99 hours doing nothing, and we're gonna see if this EcoFlow Delta can actually power my DeWalt table saw. All right, so we got the overload right here, and I was thinking that the 3,300 watt boost would actually hop in and turn that thing on. So let's check it out again. I'm just gonna move the plug in just for the heck of it. All right, move the plug in, turn this thing to the off position, and now we're gonna try it again. Nothing. Okay, this is turned off. All right, AC is back on, and we're gonna try this again. Powers up, and then it gets the overload. So I'm not gonna keep trying that. So friends, there it is. We found our maker today for the Delta EcoFlow. It's not gonna power the DeWalt table saw, and that's okay with me. We got this thing for a lot different purpose, but I wanted to kind of show you guys the limits of the EcoFlow Delta, and DeWalt has went ahead and showed us and found our maker today.